Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show here. It's the ESL Pro Series, and we've got Penta versus Epsilon. So, what's up, guys? What's up, Semler? Did I mute you? Did you mute me? Let's see. Same old, same old? I think you muted yourself this time around. Maybe. At least I can't hear you. Vendetta, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
And I can hear Vendetta too.
So this is a similar problem.
It's a similar problem. We're never quite sure. It can be both, or I guess just one of us.
For now, let's blame it on Sam. I think that's a safe option, safe way to go about it. Just blame it on Sam.
It's definitely the easy. I much prefer that way of doing it. So yes, ESL Pro League is coming up here. It's Penta and Epsilon. It's a best of 3 game, and we will be starting out on Dust2 as well. So welcome to the show, everyone. There we go. Now it's working.
Okay, but now I hear you twice, Anders. This is really distressing.
You hear me? Oh, okay. All right. I see where you're going with this. I'll mute the Skype call. How about that?
That's much better, man. Now Anders, I love you, but twice it's just
it's too much.
It's a bit hard to handle, man. It's a bit hard to handle.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I see what you're saying. That's all right. In the meantime, though, because actually almost everyone is on the server, I'm amazed by the ESL admins. Somehow they managed to get Counter-Strike people on the server in time. That only happens very, very rarely. Maybe like once or twice a year we can get like everyone on the server by the time we're actually ready to go. So that means we have less time to talk, but we can just quickly go through the lineup here. We do have the team sheet coming up here. So it's Epsilon versus Penta, it's DMX Uzi, it's Foxio, it's Scream, and it's Biggie. Bit of a strange lineup maybe, and we're not quite sure how much practice they've been putting in because it's been a little bit unstable for Epsilon, it seems. And on the Penta side, it's obviously Felix, Crystal, Robson, Dennis, and Spitty. So those are the 5 people playing on the German side of the lineups here. But yeah, big welcome to the show, all of you, and I hope you are going to be enjoying the show here tonight. Vendetta, actually, I'm just going to switch it over to the game, but I want to know who's your favorite to win this.
My favorite to win this is still going to be Epsilon, even though we haven't seen Epsilon play since, I think actually the last game they played officially was in Case King. The Case King tournament in November, so that's roughly a month ago. Or actually, it's pretty much on the dot a month ago.
Yes.
And since then, we haven't seen Epsilon do anything, probably because they don't really have a full lineup. Biggie, as you mentioned, is he stand-in, at least for now? Who knows if he's gonna join up as a steady 5th member or not in the future, but as of right now, they don't really have a 5th. So, but even so, simply because they've been so, I guess, uncoordinated and unstructured, that's really been allowing for Scream to just show what he can do, and he's been playing out of his mind when Epsilon have been playing the last couple of games. So, just because of Scream and how he's been playing as of late, I kind of have to favor Epsilon.
Yeah. I've actually, I'm not sure. I really have my doubts about this one. It seemed like if you went through the betting community earlier, that people were quite heavily in favor of Epsilon. I think it's ended up at like 60-40 roughly in a best of 3. So that's sort of fairly even. I just don't know. I feel like the Epsilon team must have been through a weird and troublesome time lately. We're not really necessarily knowing what their future lineup was going to look like. They invited Foxio back, but it seemed like he didn't even know that he was being invited back. So, I mean, I'm a little bit worried for Epsilon. I'm worried that they're going to be like too unstructured or too uncoordinated. And Penta, I mean, they've had some decent results lately.
They have. Well,
DreamHack Winter.
DreamHack Winter, pretty much like the biggest one, right? Pretty much getting into the top 8 of DreamHack Winter is not too bad an achievement. And they've shown some structured play. I'm actually going to go with Penta on this one. I think Epsilon, well, it's a very tough call to make just because the randomness of Epsilon could play to their favor. It's going to be tough for Penta to predict what the Frenchmen are going to try and throw at them. But at the same time, Penta have that structure to fall back on that Epsilon don't. So I think Ven hit the nail on the head, really. A lot of this is going to come down to Scream and whether he's just going to obliterate Penta outright. If he doesn't, I think Penta are going to take it.
Yeah, also feels like it's been a little while at least since we've seen Foxio sort of play in a lineup actively. So I'm excited to see how well he's going to be doing because right when he came into the global offensive scene, he kind of shocked everybody. He actually, for a while, seemed like he was going to be like almost like a new Kenny S or a new JW or something like that. And then it turned out he maybe wasn't quite as consistent, which weirdly is also a problem that the other two people we just mentioned have also been struggling with. So maybe it's not that uncommon when you are the, you know, the primary AWPer and everything is on your shoulders. But it seems like since then he's been up and down, and maybe even sometimes a little bit more down than he has been up. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we still need to keep an eye on Foxio here.
Oh, absolutely. He does have an impact when he plays, and even though, as you mentioned, he has the tendency to be very inconsistent. It seems kind of odd to say a tendency to be inconsistent, right?
Consistent in his inconsistency.
Exactly. But even so, if he's on his game, and just the fact that he brings the potential threat of having an op that can do a lot of damage to a team, that can do a lot for you in itself. I think I would have leaned more towards Penta winning this if they hadn't had FXO, simply because Penta has a lot of capable operators, and if Epsilon show up without FXO, then they don't really have that. We've seen the operators come into play. Yeah, exactly.
Crystal, man. I'm thinking it's going to be the Crystal show.
Yeah, Dennis could also wheelie off Felix too. So they have a lot of options to go to, and Epsilon don't have that luxury without FXO. But FXO alone, I think, is good enough to handle any of the operators that Penta could potentially bring out.
It's a question of whether Fox is going to make the right calls, because we've seen it in the past when Epsilon get a little pressured, Fox starts making, or Foxio, you know, starts making some crazy plays like rushing through mid, just ultra aggression, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that kind of risky business, maybe that's something that GMX is actually going to encourage in him today, just because they need an edge to come out ahead of Penta. So maybe they're going to be like, okay, Scream, you shoot them in the face, Foxio, you just run around and do your thing with the op, and then, you know, we're just going to cross our fingers and hope.
I love Crystal's attempt to speak French. That's brilliant, Crystal. Exactly like how I would have done it. Adil obviously being Scream. Yes, we're getting into it. It's Penta versus Epsilon. It's a best-of-3 game here at the ESL Pro League. So welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this evening. Again, invite your friends. Get some more people in watching Counter-Strike. It's getting closer and closer to Christmas if you celebrate this sort of stuff. And what better way to sound off Christmas than by the sound of AK-47 gunfire? So it is going to be a best-of-3, one of them tonight, and another one following up. So potentially we have 6 maps if it goes the full distance in both games, and either way we'll have just a lot of fun. So yes, let's get it on here. You know, Ven, you said Pro Epsilon, Semler, you said maybe Penta. You were feeling them a little bit more. Yeah,
I'm going Penta, even though, you know, the hat is shamed by that. You know, I'm gonna go Penta.
Well, I think I have to pick a side. This feels really even to me, but I'm just going to throw it in with Epsilon. You know, I feel like that I have some weird feeling that maybe Fox and Scream are going to be enough to do it. And I still wouldn't discount GMX and Uzi, actually. They're really interesting players. Biggie, I don't know what to expect really from, because I remember we've seen him before in this lineup, and he actually did some really cool stuff, but that was on Inferno. I can't remember his performances on Dust2, so he's a little bit of a blank for me. So that's what it is. Let's see how it's going to go. It will be Penta starting on the CT side, which seems to be the preferable choice for most people winning the knife these days.
Yeah,
get them easy rounds.
Yeah, getting it that easy start, having people run at you instead of chasing after frags, right?
Yes. Well, just a little bit of mid control here. Spitty, the one hanging out, and Dennis also inside the bomb site. Looked like Epsilon, actually, if they'd gone for a B rush, maybe could have hit an insane timing. No way for them to know that. GMX making a lot of noise over on Catwalk, and as they rotate out of the B bomb site, that's exactly when the rest of Epsilon groove in here. That's a great shot from Dennis, though, to take down Uzi. That's going to be annoying. Spitty as well, landing one headshot, and Dennis moving closer. Is finally going to go down, but great defense and a great grenade. Explodes Biggie. It's just Scream left here. 1 on 3.
Yeah, and already he's got 2 headshots to his name. So, question is, can he get more? He's about to get flanked. He does spot Felix out in T-spawn, looking for that shot, and he gets the kill. Headshot, body shot, gets the combo, and 3 kills now for Scream. Is he really about to 1v5 Penta? That would be obscene.
Question is, how many people did he spot up there? Because they're hunting for him, and he's just trying to play all the corners. He's got a lot of time to work with. Unfortunately, no grenades. He's going to take the peek, and that's going to be the end of it. Robson will take him down. That's really scary, especially when it's Scream. It wasn't quite enough. Great defense from Penta in the beginning, though.
Yeah, very solid. I think Dennis getting that first frag from Plateau into Upper Dark, they're really did a lot for them. Otherwise, they probably would have gotten into that bomb site uncontested, and whoever ran in through doors, I think it was Spitty, I think he would have gotten just, you know, overran. So really solid pick off from Dennis there at the beginning. Scream almost had it though. I was almost positive that he spotted 2 people in Upper Dark there once he peeked up from the stairs. So I was expecting him to just haul ass towards the bomb site.
I was wondering as well if he found that angle to work. What's interesting now is that we've got 2 CZs, a Tech 9. Like, we've got a good, solid selection of pistols, and they're already speeding up towards that A site. Crystal's flash blind, but now he's about to see. And there you go, 5-7 on GMX to start.
Well, they're going to try and run him down, but Crystal is there. He gets another headshot in, and they get the bomb down, yes, but they really didn't do a lot after that. Scream is going to be dropped at the very end here, and nobody on Penta dies. That looked like it could have been a lot more, a lot better for Epsilon, essentially. They got so close to the guy on A-ramp here that should have been a big opening, but yeah, you're right. 2 CSET 75s after the CSET 75 apocalypse. That's interesting.
The nerf band is real. I like how they're picking up the Tech 9, though. Dennis, he knows where it's at. Bit of a buff. Let's see how things go with it. Deagle also down to $700 is a big change. I'm curious to see if we're going to see that picked up a lot more often. I mean, NBK was already making jokes earlier about it being like LD Eagle C or whatever the hell.
It obviously has to be LD Girl C. Come on.
LD Girl C.
I saw him do that as well, and my instant thought was, come on, NBK.
You can do better.
Girl C.
Come on.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Crystal out on long. They're all rushing up again. They just want that second bomb plant. Grenade not connecting too much, but the Molotov is setting a little bit of fire onto GMX. But the bomb will once again safely go down. A much better round this time, it seems, for Epsilon. Now they're actually just holding short and buying time for themselves.
They've got a pretty solid setup right now, but they're going to start pushing up on long slope, on A slope rather, getting onto that A side. It's going to be all about Cat. Oh, the slaughter. Okay, Robson and Dennis just mauled Epsilon on Cat. That was the perfect flash. Everybody was flashed on Epsilon, and they lined up for him to boot. That, you know, it was the perfect plant, but then it was the perfect retake, Anders. Like, how do you top that?
I don't know. That rates pretty highly on the scale. You're right. Not what Epsilon were counting on, so really well done. Orb on Crystal, as we predicted. Orb on Fox Show. Really not that difficult to predict, really, so don't give us too much credit for that one. Boost in the middle. Crystal wanting to look over. Fox Show, he's down there. Oh, but they just barely missed each other. So, a bit of a slow round coming out, it seems like, for the Epsilon squad here, then.
Yeah, not too surprising. You don't want to do something silly and potentially just straight up lose the first buy round, because that could set off Penta to a really good start and basically be in a situation where they have so much money banked up that they're not going to be able to be forced to do an eco anytime soon, and that's definitely something Epsilon don't want to see. So they're probably going to have Scream and Fox, you know, pretty much just look for opening frags and work it from there.
Yeah, it's pretty much Scream. He's sitting on the board with 3 frags right now for Epsilon. Everybody else is at 0. So Epsilon, they need to wake up right now. Nice flash there to take a bit of a peek, but Scream gets flashed as well, so he doesn't get too much out of it. And Epsilon are just kind of poking about on Cat, but it's still very standard right now for them. A guy in Upper Dark, a guy outside of long, 3 in mid. Epsilon haven't really pulled the trigger yet on what they want to do.
Yeah, if they go mid to B, which seems like a likely option at this point, Dennis and Spitty, they're gonna be in some trouble, I think, to do this. They don't have the best weaponry for it. They're kind of out of grenades as well. I think Dennis has like a couple of flashbangs, but Spitty can't really hold them back that easily. He's gonna have to hit essentially nothing but headshots, and they are gonna go out. GMX is still over on Catwalk, as we can tell, and Scream just walking in with that headshot, which you kind of expect him to do as well. Dennis gonna walk right into Biggie here, and he will pick up the kill. That's huge. Now he's controlling Upper Dark, and they are losing a lot of map control elsewhere, but this is still an important move from Dennis.
Question is, wait, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, do they have time for the plant? They don't actually have time for the plant?
Is this real life? They were in the bomb site way before then. I did notice the time, I just assumed there's no reason why they're not planting.
The issue was actually that Foxio tried to drop down from window on top of the boxes, but he cut, I guess, his movement short, so he didn't drop down from the boxes, and that shaved off that half a second that he actually needed. Seems like he's trying to make up for it, though, getting the entry frag onto Crystal, and all of Epsilon are just bomb rushing out there.
Fox Show with the follow-up as well. Now they got Felix trapped down here. He's going to try and flash his way out of this misery, but it's not going to work out. So, yeah, making up for it a little bit. You're right. I didn't even catch that other thing on camera, unfortunately, but That is a hilarious and also tragic way to lose a round. So Dennis is going to be in a 1-on-4, and it feels like Epsilon are getting at least some revenge for what just happened. That's got to sting.
I don't know if he should be taking this fight. I'm not really... I guess he figures that he's not going to be able to save the gun, but he doesn't. If he could have held on to that rifle there, actually, that made a difference here, because Penta actually really low on money right now after that 5th round. Or right after the 4th, so that's a bit scary for them. They're going to go for a force. Penta, they're no fear right now. They want to commit.
Well, they probably figure that Epsilon are fairly low on cash, which is somewhat true in this current situation, but it seems like they've neglected the fact that, sure, Epsilon didn't get the bomb down, but they didn't lose that many members in that round.
The boost works out just fine here for Penta, and I think actually maybe that's why they decided to do it. And Robson does have the CSET 75, and so far we haven't seen a single kill with this gun yet. After the patch, I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. I did spend an obnoxious amount of time earlier today trying to play around with it, but we'll see if it's going to be worth something in the hands of a pro player. Not this time. Uzi did get the slightly better angle there, and there's a couple of 5.7s picked up here on Dennis and Spitty, which is definitely a bit of a change as well. And 5.7 is a great pistol, but he can't land the follow-up shot. He did do a lot of damage onto screen, but not enough to bring him down. Dennis in the corner, also going to get overrun, and it feels like Penta, in spite of that great opening kill, they just couldn't control middle well enough.
2 easy frags there, yeah, and it goes Epsilon's way. I mean, you can see the damage dealt. Uzi down to half, Epsilon, screen down to 16. So it was a close call for Penta, but they couldn't quite do it. One thing to note here is that Crystal is still holding on to that op, and Felix has got an AK now. So if they can hold on to these guns, this isn't actually the end of the world for Penta. They've still got 4 rounds on the board on their CT side.
Yeah, they're going to be alright so far, but they want to at least do a little bit more damage than just killing a single person per round, I think. But saving the AK and the AWP is not too bad either. I think this is still like fairly even early game, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the force, though, Ven? Do you think it was a bit of a stretch? And should they do it again?
I think it was a bit of a stretch. And seeing how they forced the previous round, I don't see why they wouldn't do it this time around, because they did have the opportunity to actually drop weapons around and get 4 people equipped with proper weaponry, but they opt not to this time. So that leaves me a bit surprised, because I don't really see the point of doing the force that they did the previous round.
Oh. This time it was a straight B rush coming out from Epsilon, and not only did Epsilon have a nice smoke to try and make sure that Penta couldn't just shoot them running in through the tunnel, they also had some really weird flashbangs, Penta. I think maybe Dennis got flashed while he was throwing his own flashbang, so instead of avoiding his own flashbang, he actually kind of got himself flashed even more, and that was not cool.
Were you following him as well?
Yeah.
Because that just looked awkward. Yeah, he turns back really into weird. His flash when he throws his flash, and he should know that he's... I don't know, that seemed just a little awkward to me. It's probably just, at that point, you realize they're already out, they're right behind me, like, I need to start turning, and then you turn into your flash, and then you kind of just stand there, because you know you're done.
Now, you know what, now that we've just, obviously, Epsilon going to win their round, no problem, no one else can lose a rifle here. Do you know what, I've been sort of preemptively sharing a headache with every Valve developer out there, because with this new CSET 75 patch, I've been seeing a lot of people online saying, it's been nerfed too much, it needs to be buffed again. Can you imagine being a Valve developer at this point in time? It's not an easy job.
Well, they can't do anything right, according to the community, right?
No.
The public, I guess the popular opinion, at least the community, as Biggie picks up the first frag there on Dennis. Not able to pick up the crystal, though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, surprising as well, because that was looking so good. Now they're weirdly being smoked out of their own bomb site here. They're trying to cover the crossover, and actually Robson almost connects with that one, but it will be GMX with a reasonable return, and Felix, he's afraid of getting backstabbed, because otherwise he could have done a lot more damage up here, but I don't really blame him for worrying about that. The bomb goes down, and where is it planted for? That's the big question. It's planted, in fact, for long, so this is a really, really strong situation for Epsilon. Really almost impossible for Penta to retake this.
Agreed. I think for Penta at that point, they were like, okay, we can get both ops, save both ops, and just try again in the next round, because they're going to be able to drop FAMASs, they'll be able to drop weapons for their teammates. Spitty takes out GMX, who was hunting, and Robson is still waiting in CT. But at this point, they should be able to hold on to the remaining rifles here, Penta, so... that was all so fast, and that was actually a bit surprising to see Penta go for both ops on Cat. Because usually you would expect to see like a rifle in an op, so if the op gets rushed down, the rifle is there to support, or, you know, you can kind of have some some go back and forth there. But the fact that they had both ops and then missed both shots, that was really awkward for Penta.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. We'll see. 4-4 the current scoreline. See if they can come up with something else. They still haven't been too aggressive, let's say, upper dark or even on catwalk. They tried to catwalk that time, having 2 people there, and they sort of ran into Biggie. This time, it's a straight rush to B once again. It seems like this time Penta have figured out their flashbangs and also their rifles and are just reaching or doing havoc over there. Foxio did get the CSET 75 out in time for the jump and also to get the kill in there. And that's one of the huge differences that's been made to this gun is the draw speed. It's twice as long as it used to be. So that should be one of the sort of ways to make it less effective with an AWP, of course. But Foxio was fast enough.
That's definitely the change in mind, right? You know, the stop the whole... or the fact that the op is a one-man army. Dennis will find Foxio at the end. But yeah, now you may have that window, that solid window where if the opper misses his shot and he's close to you, you might be able to get around that corner fast enough now to take him out and actually get a punish out there. Something that wasn't possible with the pre-nerf CZ. So we'll see how things develop. I mean, Foxio sticking with the CZ, though, really says or shows some confidence on his part. He doesn't want to change.
Either that or he forgot to change.
That could be it as well.
Yes.
Trying to read into it here, you know, but maybe Foxio. I mean, Fox, you know, he didn't know he was on a team. He didn't know about the changes. He didn't. Does he know everything?
He just gets an IP on Mumble and then just connects.
Yeah, he just connects. He's like, oh, what's up, guys? Who we playing?
Is it you people again? You keep contacting me, and I don't know why. Every evening, you just tell me to come on the server and practice.
Foxio thinks he's playing matchmaking and getting teamed up with the same people over and over.
He can't believe his luck.
Yeah, he's raging that he doesn't have global yet. He's like, what are your ranks, guys?
Yes, let's try and get that moved into the game. That's Scream opening up in the middle on Spitty with an excellent headshot, using a couple of bullets there at their aptly named headshot box. It's now 5-on-3, and the rest of Penta are going to have to come up with a bit of a miracle to try and bring themselves out of this, I think. They do have Dennis controlling the middle with an AWP, and Crystal's over here on long, but I think a lot of this is going to come down to Felix, and he has a huge task on his hand. This is almost impossible. I like the Molotov, actually. Maybe try and buy a little bit of time, but how long are they going to wait? They're right around the corner. He's going to need Crystal in the back. Felix only gets the one. Crystal misses a shot here. He has to connect. He has to look long. They're coming for him as well, and he walks right into the headshot there. So Epsilon now in a prime position.
And Dennis not quite able to connect on GMX there. Double nade combo takes him down to half HP. Nice little medium Grand Moth thrust. That was like your aunt's toss up onto the A site, but it's going to be too late. GMX catches him out in the open, and Epsilon actually managing to build off that pretty nicely. I'm surprised that Epsilon actually in Longhouse didn't wait for Foxio to take the peak, that they just decided to flash and run out, because Fox was like working his way forward, and then they were just like, nah, screw it, just run, just rush. Like, it worked out, but for a second there I was wondering if Epsilon are really going to be relying on Foxio to get them entries with that off.
Well, I think the reasoning for them more or less just flashing and going as a group there was the fact that they had one man on short, putting a lot of pressure on Crystal. So Crystal had no opportunity to really back up Felix without leaving himself very open. As Uzi picks off 2 people. That's a good job from Uzi right there, picking up 2 people.
Yeah, they were rushing through the smoke, 3 people on him from 3 different angles. He could have very likely just killed one and died, and that would have been a little bit less successful. Biggie down in lower dark. I think they have heard him. Speedy's waiting right there, and I don't think Biggie realizes, and that's dangerous. He will go down, and now it's Foxio and Scream left. Penta, if they win this eco round, that would be upsetting to the French team.
They're out of nades, though, on Penta, so they're going to have to actually get in here and do it the hard way. Felix, sick headshot on Scream. Bit of the pre-fire there, but it works wonders, and now they can actually try and make a fight out of this. They don't have a kit, though, so this is going to be cutting it close, but Foxio peeks out on Cat. He takes out Dennis as well, and Felix is gone. 3 kills for Foxio. Single-handedly holds that bomb plant.
Oh, man.
Bit of a ballsy decision from Foxio, to be honest. I don't get why he went for that second frag. He could have easily ignored the guy jumping on top of the boxes and just gone for the guy defusing.
Yeah, I agree.
Seemed like such a like a much safer choice, but I guess, you know, he's got that added flair to it now.
He's still playing matchmaking. I mean, it's about the kills, right? That's what you worry about. I don't know. Biggie will open up on Dennis with a good headshot there, which is great news for Epsilon, who almost lost that round so close. And now Penta, of course, they want revenge. They knew as well how close they came. Robson trying to do some damage in the middle here. He's fighting Scream. And it's going to get some help from Spitty to actually eventually take down Uzi, who also was dropped a little bit low. So an even trade early on, but probably still going to be favoring Epsilon. They have a lot more grenades. In fact, there's only Crystal with a smoke here.
It's not a whole lot to work with, and that smoke has now been used, but it's going to be a cap push coming up here from Epsilon. Looking to try and take this fight, trying to clear this site, but Robson is waiting on CT Slope, not going to land the shot. He eventually will land some bullets on Foxio, but he doesn't get the kill. And that bomb has been forced back. Epsilon, however, they're getting picked apart left and right at this point. Scream and Fox are the only two alive, and they're so low.
Fox actually opting to go all the way around to long instead of pushing with Scream on Cat. He might be able to catch off one member from Penta here before they actually, you know, become aware of where he is, but it's going to be really tough for him, especially when he missed that shot.
Yeah, it kind of gives up the game, doesn't it? Yeah, you're right. That was a bit of an interesting choice, but they were already losing quite heavily. I think it was GMX coming out of long as well. And if he had won the battle with whoever was down in pit, maybe things could have turned out slightly differently for them. But now Foxjo's going to be able to save the orb, and that will be another round here for Penta. Then how many do they need on this first half here, the CT side?
It's kind of hard to say, really. I still think Dust2 is a T-sided map, or it's favorable for the T side if they play it correctly, even though a lot of teams opt to start on the CT side. So I think they couldn't be perfectly fine with 6 rounds, but obviously, given the situation they're in, they want to aim for at least 8.
I agree.
Well, nice they might be on their way, yeah, and that was Foxio versus Crystal over at long. Crystal actually threw a flashbang, that's kind of cool. Kind of like you do in the middle, the Smith's flashbang AWP combo that we talk about so much. Seemed like Crystal wanted to do the exact same thing over on long, but Foxio wasn't even flashed. That wasn't even it. Crystal was just at an angle that was a little bit wider than the French Chopper was expecting. Scream landing a great headshot on Crystal. Just classic Scream movement coming out right now, and he's looking for one more down on long. Felix is going to walk in, and there's a second headshot to follow up. Bomb is already here and will go down, and in the middle, Biggie is holding this position behind the smoke. This is going to be do or die time for Penta. If they lose this engagement, they're going to be gone, and they're not even going to go for it, which means now Biggie hears them falling back, so either way, it's a great position.
Now, the question is whether Epsilon decide to go hunting or not. If they decide to go after these guns right now, crack open that B site, see if they can't take a rifle off of Penta, that would be a good win. Thing is, I think, like, in this scenario, I think Penta really need to come out ahead. This was a crucial round for them because they need to come out ahead as far as the rounds are concerned. Now they need to pick up the remaining 2 rounds in the half because Epsilon, I mean, clearly things are working for them on the T side. They're going for some aggressive plays that are actually catching Penta off guard. I mean, Crystal getting caught out in the open this round, but when they go over to CT side, that's when Scream and Foxio really get to shine. That's when Scream just starts cranking out headshots left and right because he can sit on a site and hold an angle, and then if you come around that corner, you're pretty much dead. So I think Penta need 8 rounds here to really have a shot in the second half.
They're going to be hard-pressed for it, though, because they've opted to force by now, and you can see that the revenue isn't exactly the greatest. So if they lose this one, we're most likely going to see 9 rounds for Epsilon. That's the situation that Penta has put themselves in.
And that'll make it really tough. They do have the Noah Tower going on here, so Scream is going to be going down. That's the headshot machine, at least briefly interrupted on the other side, so that's good news at least. Grenade rains in, and actually does no damage at all. Thought that was going to peek in, but I think Dennis was behind the corner somehow. So, nice entry frag, but if they go and push where Felix is, Semler, he's only got a 5-7.
Yeah, but he does have a fresh smoke down to buy more time. Minute left, though, and they're going to flash their way out, and that is the worst timing to pull out a nade. Oh, he still gets a headshot, though. Nicely done there by Felix, but unfortunately, Robson can't follow up. He was holding that crossfire angle on long, and he gets taken out immediately by GMX. So into a 3-on-3. Crystal still alive on the side, however, trying to stop this push, and he's going to get a frag.
He runs into the fire and he's going to be able to escape. Oh, madness coming out right here. And Foxio's traded places in the smoke with Dennis, and Speedy will pick up the kill afterwards. That was a crazy idea. Vendetta, they flashed Crystal in, and he didn't peek ramp. He jumped down on ramp to take the fight against 3 people. That could have gone worse, couldn't it?
It could have definitely gone worse, but Crystal actually threw a really cute flash there. He threw a bounce flash from the A side that landed, kind of just pop flashed in the ramp slope there on towards A, and it definitely caught 2 of the Epsilon members completely out.
Touchdown grenade being thrown there from Spiddy. They're walking in. This is like a naked walk in. They're not making any noise. Dennis doing a lot of damage. He needs a lot more. He could have got 3 kills then, but he only gets the 1. Robson, 1 grenade over the top right now would do wonders. Epsilon have taken a huge amount of damage, but they are still alive. There's the 1 grenade, not going to catch anybody. This is a tough retake from Penta in the last round of the half.
This is not looking pretty here. This is going to be very rough. A fresh Molotov goes down to block off window as well, buying more time here for Epsilon. All 3 members for Penta gathered up on B slope though, so it looks like as soon as this Molotov clears, they're going to go rushing through. Flashes to lead the way. They have to find the frags, but Foxyo and Uzi hold the site perfectly. Uzi getting the double kill at the end. 3 in the round. And Epsilon, they make it work.
That may have been the most fortunate B-push timing I've ever seen in my life. The fact that they got grenaded that heavily, that grenade hit like 3 people and took 2 of them, I think, to half health, and then they just walked in without making any noise. It's really, really a good job from Epsilon, in fact, because so many teams will obviously throw the smoke like Epsilon themselves did earlier. They throw the smoke that sort of lands in the middle of the site. They'll bounce in flashbangs, which is obviously a clear sign to the CT side that something is about to go down over here. Instead, they make no noise. They signal nothing at all. No telegraphing going on. And then, as soon as they're there, all hell breaks loose. And, I don't know, 1 second, you know, sooner or later in that push, and probably they would have been mowed down by Penta. Interesting position now. 8-7 for Epsilon.
Yeah, I think both teams can actually be okay without that played out. Weirdly enough, the first half ended in a lot of saves from both teams, actually. So I haven't seen that many kills happening. I'm not really sure what to make of it, though, because normally you'd see teams try for retakes, but they've ended up as even as you can get, really. So I'm just assuming that they feel pretty comfortable as to how that first half went for both sides.
That was pretty damn even, all things considered. Now the question is, what do they have in store for us here, Penta, for their pistol?
Looks like they're heading up catwalk, but are they going to try and fake it like a mid push? I think they might. Crystal walking in, but yeah, in the corner. Foxshow hasn't seen him. What? How's Crystal here? He walked right past Foxshow, and now they're getting into the bomb site, and Crystal might be in the most genius position of all time. He picks up Biggie in the middle, and now he's going to be behind the Epsilon team, who are trying their very best. Nobody knows, even though he got the kill, they're not aware. Crystal picks up the second one as well. Bomb ticking away. Crystal with the mid-air headshot to take down Foxshow. It's now all on screen, 1-on-3, but Crystal is gunning for him. He wants that quad kill, but he's not going to get it. And then eventually they will win the round, but Vendetta, how did Crystal get in there? I don't understand.
I have no idea either. The guy behind the door, I'm not sure who from Epsilon was behind the door.
Foxshow.
It was Foxshow, okay. He should have not gotten flashed that badly, to the point where he could not spot Crystal jumping in. And that was actually the same pistol round that Penta did versus the New London Conspiracy team last night. So it doesn't seem like Epsilon, were watching that game, because they would have been onto it if they'd seen that game.
Well, maybe a little bit of lack of research or homework going into it from Epsilon's side. Maybe they just happened to have missed that game, but you're right. It was a very similar situation. Now we do see various pistols here. P250, CSET 75, 5.7, and then 2 scouts being picked up, which has become very common as well. And I hate the fact that Penta are trying to take this fight versus Epsilon, because it's such an easy way to lose the follow-up anti-eco here if you just all get body shot, and then once you're all at less than 50% health, you all try and push a bomb site.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, and there we go. Scream will land the shot on Felix with that scout at mid. He gets taken out, however, by Robson. So it's looking like this is going to shape up into a B-split push here. Great headshot on Spitty to take out Biggie, and just like that, Penta have control of the B site. So question is now, can Epsilon actually find anybody to take out here as they try and cross? Smoke is going to go down. That's going to make life difficult here for the Frenchman.
Just a quick update. I think actually now that they're saving, do you guys mind if we switch to the other Mumble server? Because I hear sometimes like a little bit of stuttering going on, and it's that same packet loss problem that we've had earlier. So is that cool, you guys?
Yeah, sure. Let's swap.
All right. There we go. Sorry about that, everyone, but it's sometimes we have like a couple of different Mumble servers that we alternate between, and for some reason, sometimes some of them get angry. I can hear you fine.
There we go.
Yeah, I think that solved the problem. We're not always sure why.
Anders is quiet for me, though.
Oh, you can't hear me? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hello, hello? Ah, alright, wait a minute. How about now?
There we go.
There we go.
You, mate.
Alright. Excellent stuff. I don't know what's happening, but we're figuring it out. You can still hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. I think we're solving these issues. Another scout, well, they still have the scout saved from previous round, sorry about that. And Penta are still taking a little bit faster than last time, actually. I was going to say they were going to take it slow, but they are moving up pretty quickly here. Going to drop Uzi. GMX will get the return kill, but should be some long control coming in here for the Penta team. And that's good news already.
Quick rotation from the Epsilon team, though, so they are going to be able to get FXO on, or Foxo on top of the site with the scout, so he could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the bomb has been dropped out in the middle of nowhere now. Penta, we're trying to push up through a slope. Scream is going to boost, or no, he's going to get boosted with that scout. They decided to rotate back through mid right now. It seems like they have an idea what is going on. Did Foxio not actually see the bomb get dropped over at long?
I should have been able to see it, but instead everybody just goes suiciding into Robson. Not really sure what went into that decision, but obviously from our point of view, that should have been an easy round for Epsilon. They had full control over the bomb. Closest guy was at the corner of long for the T side, so they had all, you know, all the possibilities in the world to actually grab that round.
Yes, I think there was some miscommunication going on the French side, unfortunately. Scream is going to go down. Robson ends up with a triple kill. And, yeah, that seemed very weird. Just maybe a lack of communication going into it. Now, Epsilon are able to buy into the 4th round of the second half here, and it's a 2-round lead currently for Penta, but they can't buy the AWP on Foxio, and actually I can't help but think that's going to be an issue in the long run if they can't end up picking that up more.
Could definitely be an issue, and we've seen that on, well, with several teams really who have a fairly dominant offer, or at least an offer who has a significant impact on the game, that when they start doing forced buys and not really save up to play to their strengths, they fall far behind to the point where you finally do get an off, it's way too late. And hopefully that's not the case for Epsilon, but this is definitely a big round for the Frenchmen. They need to get into the groove of things and start building an economy so Foxio can actually get to that point where it can buy an off and not feel deathly afraid of nades and just random spam shots through walls.
It feels like they're going to be moving up on short, which is, I mean, if Foxio had an AWP, he'd probably get a free kill and then just fall back, but it's a little bit different with the M4. He might get flashed in by a teammate. It's going to be the smoke up first, but wouldn't be surprised if there's a tiny corner that maybe he could spot something in. And if not, no, GMX actually doesn't have any smokes or any more flashbangs, so I don't know, a little bit annoyed at that. I feel like the flashbang into short is such a powerful tool, but opening kill goes in favor, and actually Crystal hits that leg shot on GMX as well. That's going to be aggravating.
Very much so. Biggie's now right on the edge of getting locked out of his own sight right now. He's trying to hold to see if anybody comes pushing up B slope. Looks like he's going to make his mind up, and he's going to get caught out in the middle. Nicely done there, catching him out in the open, Crystal, with that AWP, but GMX is still able to return fairly quickly there. It's just not going to be enough.
Felix, what just happened? That was so fast. I mean, he could hear him running in, but he had just sort of put his crosshair down towards the center of his screen, and then he instantly flicked up. That was so fast. And that's a very effortless round. What went wrong for Epsilon that round, then?
A lot of things. And obviously getting the entry in mid did a lot for Penta's part. And the setup Epsilon were left with at that point was just way too weak. And I'm not really sure if Penta had an inkling as to how their Epsilon setup were, but they definitely made the right decision going towards B, because Biggie obviously had to rotate out, seeing how Scream was more or less locked in inside of CT spawn with 2 operas in mid kind of just waiting for him to peek out. So yeah, just all over solid play from Penta, but Epsilon can't allow those 2 operas to do a lot of work for the German team.
Foxio again in the corner here, and last time he didn't make much of this position. He's got Scream sort of halfway aiming at his head, and he's gonna get shot through the door down to 17 health, and a Scream sort of peeks out to try and help him out. He gets killed in return as well. Fox gonna go down, and things are looking really good. It's an eco round coming out from Epsilon, but it's pretty important that they do a lot of damage here, because the German team, at least some of them, are starting to build some money here. It's almost 10,000 on Robson, so he's building a good bank. Not much of a follow-up coming in from Epsilon. Not really much they could do. So just, I think, an attempt to try and trick Penta into something in the middle. When that didn't work out, it was smooth sailing there on out from the German team. So now it's a 4-round lead. What could they do? What's the plan here for Epsilon? We mentioned CT side aggression when it was Penta playing on the CT side. Do you think that's an option here for Epsilon too, Ben?
It's definitely an option. The only issue I can see with that is the fact that Penta are actually taking a lot of time to make sure they get into positions where they want to just hold off and make sure that they don't get caught up from aggression as Dennis picks off GMX. And that's, I think that's the third time we've seen Penta get an entry on long. So they've really been making the spawns work for them here. But yeah, Penta are just taking their time. They're not getting caught out. They usually go as a duo or as a trio to the various places just to make sure that they don't get caught out. And if they do, they can potentially get a trade. So it's going to be hard for Epsilon to actually get some solid aggression in there.
Oh man, the fact that they buy 2 AWPs obviously is not going to make it easier to exactly push, but eventually Foxio will pick up a good return kill even though they lost the initial engagement. Are they going to push here, Penta? They're feeling it. Foxio might be going down. He gets the kill and gets away, and I have no idea how. That should have definitely been a quick kill here on the French AWPer. Now both the AWPs are locked in on long, and Crystal is going to be strolling through with his shot. Dennis to follow up as well. Foxio knows somebody's coming, but it doesn't matter. He's so low on health. Almost nothing you could do. And Penta get into the bomb side. This is just a tiny detail, but they do get here with 3 Molotovs left. So if this ever came to a retake situation, then they could actually just firebomb the bomb all the way up to the bomb site and just try and stay out of harm's way. So a lot of grenades saved, which is really difficult to do on the terrorist side. You usually end up using all your grenades getting into the bomb site, and then once you're there, you're sort of out of them. So yeah, overall, I'd say a pretty successful round from Penta.
Yeah, I can't really complain with the round win, can you?
No, definitely not.
Yeah. But again, Epsilon losing the early man, and I think that messes up a lot with their rotation. And as we alluded to previously, they're probably not that well practiced, seeing how they're playing with a stand-in. Foxio officially joined yesterday, so you can kind of assume that their rotations are not going to be on point. So when they lose that first guy and they have to readjust everything about their setup, that could easily throw them off balance.
Yeah, they certainly seem just a tiny bit off balance here. But are they going to try for a pull combo here? Flashbang in. Biggie wanted to peek. It seemed like it was a really, really good idea. Now Dennis trying to walk through. Scream really wants to return some damage, but not going to be too successful. So nice idea, I think, from Epsilon. But right now, Penta are hitting they're hitting all their shots.
They are getting entry after entry, and again, we see Epsilon being forced to make a rotation. GMX now in B slope, and he's not going to have any backup if Penta actually opts to go outside, unless FXO or Foxio decides to drop down from catwalk. And even then, you're most likely going to find him dropping down into a smoke. So Epsilon are spread really thin right now, and Penta have all the opportunities in the world to really opt to do whatever they want.
Foxio knows that Robson is there, taking a long time to get that kill. He is going to drop down, like you said, but now, as he drops down, they're going to move up, which means he's now... Oh, actually, they're going to move back again. They're trying to see if they can almost double fake this one. GMX is holding over here. They got Scream inside the bomb site. This is going to be a really tricky position.
And Crystal... Crystal has dropped down into CT spawn from catwalk.
He can't win the battle, though, and inside the B bomb site, actually, Scream doing a good job holding on to it. GMX as well, and Penta now, one man left. He's going to go down as well. That initially seemed like they were just trying to sort of really keep Epsilon guessing about where they were going, and then eventually it actually seemed like they weren't really sure themselves what they were doing.
Yeah, I was about to say, they were the ones ending up guessing as to what they were doing at a certain point. I think the initial plan was to do a B split, seeing how Robson set up with that smoke and have him drop down. Instead, Crystal took that role as soon as Robson went down. It didn't quite work out, and I'm not really sure why they would have Crystal drop down from spawn there after Robson gets taken out, because it doesn't really serve any purpose when they don't have any idea where Foxio is.
Yeah, a bit of a shame, but I mean, at least Epsilon finally get around on the board. That's the first round they've won in this second half. They just lost 6 in a row. And now, obviously, as everyone who's a regular viewer of the game already knows what I'm about to say, but if they lose this round, that'll reset their round loss bonus, and it will be just plain awful. That could actually be the winning move for Penta here. At least on the first map, it's a best-of-3 game, so don't panic too much if you bet all your belongings on Epsilon. It's definitely over, and I think Penta even chose this map, so I wouldn't be too panicked yet. But the German team is playing pretty well right now. Let's see if they can get another entry frag or run long. It's Uzi's hiding in the corner, and Robson just strolls in to get the shot. GMX, he almost takes down Robson, but that's not quite good enough. 6 health left on Robson here, and it's going to be Crystal with the return frag, and I think Biggie and Scream need to run away. They don't need to lose these rifles, but they really want to. They're trying hard to do it, and it seems like they are going to be successful in just surrendering the remaining firearms here. Coming up from behind was Dennis to take down Scream. Trying to retake a bomb site 2-on-4, is that a reasonable choice, Vendetta? It's a very leading question.
It's not really the best option you can go for it, but with this situation Epsilon find themselves in, they didn't really have much of a choice. It's like you said, if they lose that round, their money bonus is going to be reset, so they're back to scratch, you know? They don't really have anything to go off of, and they don't have the time, really, or the rounds to build up a new economy.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, you have to commit to it, right? And sorry for the bit of a bow there, guys. My mic just stopped working for some reason. So, the big thing here is that this is, in fact, Penta's map, Anders. So,
yes,
them coming out this strong on T side is a big play for them.
Well, we have seen Penta being really strong on Dust2 previously, or at least parts of the, I guess, parts of the team. We've seen, you know, teams with Felix and Crystal do very well versus some of the best teams in the world on this map.
Yeah, without a doubt. So it's not a complete surprise, but I'd say Epsilon have had their moments. And Epsilon just won some really crucial rounds at certain points in the game. Scream, P250 in hand. If ever there was a time to land headshots, especially because they're going to be within 1 kill range here, now would be it. He's making so much noise that he's becoming a free kill. Just a firing squad waiting. There's no way he could know that, but if he had waited another 4 seconds, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, I do like the way Penta are playing this, though. They seem to really enjoy running through mid to A, which is not something you see pretty much ever in CSGO, but Penta really like taking control over that CT spawn area in the middle of the round and working out, or working their way from there. So that's actually kind of fun to see, and it definitely caught Scream off guard. He had no idea where to look.
How do you say buddy system in German? Is that like Freunde-System? I don't know.
Sounds about right.
It's been a long time since I took German, as most people can probably tell. But yes, 3 AWPs here in the 25th round, because Penta realized we have enough money to just throw away on buying ops if we need to. Nice flashbang in here, and Uzi will pick up the kill. Foxshow with 1 as well. Things looking great for Epsilon as they actually just destroy the Penta team. Only GMX being crisped somewhere on the map by Robson there after he had died as well. So Dennis going to be alone. Finally, something is working for the French.
Yeah, actually, it does manage to work out pretty damn nice. They go for some aggression. I think Penta are going to be regretting that op by now. They did use a lot of their money here, and if Epsilon do manage to draw it out a little bit, things could get hairy for him. That's the thing. It's not like you have that big of a cushion. CT side Dust2, I mean, Epsilon could potentially run it back from here if they start getting a little wind under their wings.
Yeah, they could start to build up something. The problem for them is the fact that Penta only needs 1 lucky round. It doesn't really matter how they get it. It could be the luckiest thing in the world or just horrible mistakes from Epsilon, but they only have that 1 mistake that they can make. And, well, it starts off well with GMX actually offing. That's something I did not expect to see.
He's capable.
You wonder if that was actually him just buying the op because of the spawn. He must have spawned really close to B because he was there just about the same time that Dennis was. So timing worked out really well for him. Over on long, Felix might be about to take a fight here with Foxshow. He just shoulder peeks to trigger the initial shot, and now is he going to spot Uzi down in pit? He will see him and even take some damage from him as well. But they're trying to get that long control, which has been working well for them in the past. Uzi down here is going to be going down. And that might be the opening that the Germans need.
Nice play here by Foxio as well, just instantly trying to get eyes on Cat, make sure that nobody's going to try and flank him out through that site so that he can start taking this fight on long a little bit more seriously here. But this is a bit of an awkward spot for him, really. He has to try and focus on Cat, focus on long. He has to be worried about his positioning because he can get shot at any moment here. It's going to come down to timing for him.
timing doesn't work out. He needed backup now. Biggie throwing one smoke up towards the other side and obviously calling for backup, saying, please, quick, before the Germans get here. He's going to go out, get one kill in. GMX will get the double. Tries to jump with the AWP. He gets the no-scope leg shot in. Robson's going to be alone, and GMX will somehow take him down. What on earth? How did Epsilon win that round? That was looking very bad for them.
I don't even know. I think that's the only thing I can say. GMX, after a heroic round with the off right there, actually decides to give it up to Uzi. But yeah, I think that was GMX just kind of hitting his stride with the off right there, doing a lot of work for Epsilon, because that definitely looked like it was going to be Penta's round as soon as Foxio went down.
We could be seeing overtime here. I'm hoping at least a few people have watched Snatch, because that's such a good movie. If you haven't, then you should. Dennis, though, will be going down, and it's an eco round coming out from Penta. Do you guys smell overtime in the cards?
Oh my god, if GMX keeps landing shots like that, yes. He gets caught out completely in the open there, and he still manages to spray a man down and then get a follow-up pistol kill. If GMX starts to wake up here, this could actually make the difference for Epsilon. 3 rounds. I mean, 3 rounds, considering momentum, Epsilon having a lot of money now to be able to throw around on rifles, they can definitely do this. Penta can't count this win yet.
No, they can't. They have been playing really well. Crystal's going to get legged. He goes for the return, and Biggie's dropped down. And look at the aggression being put out here by the Frenchman. Just charging into the middle, trying to see if they can get an early kill. And in the end, they are going to end up falling back. Uzi's going to take a fight with Dennis over here and does not come out on top. Could have gone either way. Actually, kind of a sloppy fight from both sides, but I don't know. I guess it is advantage with Penta, but it could still be nullified quickly as Dennis and Crystal are very low on health.
Look at the rotation coming in from Epsilon. They rotated 3 people over towards the A bomb site right now. If Foxo gets caught out by Robson here, if he pushes too aggressively, that could be a huge opening for the German team.
Oh, he's going to be looking towards Robson, but he misses the shot. That was a bit of a freebie there, unfortunately for Foxio. Missing that is going to cost him. Throws down the smoke, but he gets the follow-up. Robson tries to push through. So nicely done there by Foxio, recovering somewhat. But he only spots the one man.
Oh, GMX pushes out on long, and that's going to be a double kill with the bomb control also in his favor. That was incredible timing. So it could be happening here. Penta, yeah, they're going to start to build up a loss bonus, so they'll be able to buy a little bit more in the later stages here, but it is getting interesting. GMX walking up behind. Oh, he just spots him around the corner. That's still good information. It could have been a triple kill right then and there.
And I think they saw that that was the bomb as well. I mean, I'm surprised Dennis still opted to go towards B, really. So, but even though if his sole option or mission was to be a decoy, that didn't quite work out as soon as GMX spotted the bomb. It will get the plant though, so that's really nice for the Germans. Epsilon though do pick up another round, so they're obviously going to be more happy about that. And I don't really think they're too worried about the money situation for Penta, because they know that they simply can't lose a single round more.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The question now is, do Penta decide to force it up without an AWP? And they are going to go for it. Because if they lose this round, if they can get a plant in this one, if they lose this round, they'll have that full 5-round loss bonus plus the bonus $800 from a plant. So we could see 2 back-to-back buy rounds here out of Penta. Thing is, they need to get the job done. They're running out of time here.
Oh, Scream charging in. He takes the fight. He's going to go down. Biggie with the follow-up. He dies as well. No! Such a big investment from Epsilon. It's not over yet, but that should have paid off way more. Uzi trying to charge in, but Foxio's gone down. Felix will finally drop us a return. Now it's a 2-on-4 retake of the A-bomb site here, and Uzi getting caught out. And I think that may have been GG.
That's pretty much it. Nail, coffin. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can hope to do. Crystal's even going to catch GMX out in mid, hanging around, and that's going to be Penta picking up their map. A bit closer than they would have liked, though. 16-13, the final score, is actually a pretty well-fought battle here for Epsilon.
Yeah, very surprised about how that last turn played out, though. I'm not really sure why Penta initially wanted to go for a force buy. Simply because it does put them, as you said, if they don't get the plant in, they're going to have, Galils to work with.
Yeah.
So instead of just safing it in a sense, and going for, the full buy in the next round, because it's not like they're going to put Epsilon on an eco anytime soon, because if they win around, they've won the map. So,
well,
it worked out. I guess I can't really fault them for it, right?
It's risky.
Yeah,
you know, that's the
very
question,
risky.
right? Because it relies on getting that plant to get a full buy. So I'm sure that's what Penta were thinking, though, at the end, where they're just like, okay, well, if we get a plant, even if we don't win the round, you know, and then we can try and make something happen, you know, so let's just keep the pressure up.
We do have the post-match heat map coming up here, as well as some stats to back it up, which is really cool. We did see Dennis ending up at 24 kills, so that's pretty impressive. Crystal not too far behind at 20, so doing a really good job. On the other team is Foxio and GMX. Scream also really close by. Biggie just a little bit below average on this first map here, so that's unfortunate. Now, one point that that you were bringing up, Vendetta, is that when Penta was playing on the terrorist side, they were being quite slow and really sticking together, and I think that actually sort of shows. I don't always think heat maps are that informative to look at, because, you know, they just kind of show the normal engagement points, but it is pretty clear that Epsilon, the Penta's engagements, once they were on the T side on the second half here, were a lot further up on the map, like closer to T spawn essentially, and very much grouped up. Whereas it seemed like Epsilon were a little bit all over the place in that map. So yeah, maybe there's something to be gained from this here. Either way, it's a pretty cool tool that ESL have thrown us here. Now, before we go into the second map, which is going to be Cash, is that right?
Seems about right, yeah.
Yes, it is Cash. It's going to be Cash.
Good. We'll go for a quick break, guys. So just a little bit of music and about 5-minute breaks. So please don't go anywhere. We will be right back to see if Epsilon can't bring us to a third map.